My name is Sarah, and I'm 42 years old. For the last 5 years, my life has been defined by the 4 walls of our old family house. I am the caregiver, the daughter who stayed. Every morning, every medication, every weary movement, it's all on me. I am the anchor. When I help my frail father settle into his armchair after dinner, he always thanks me, worried that I am working too hard. I am the one who chose to be here, or perhaps the one who was chosen.
And then there's David, my brother, 2 years older. He lived a life of success and distance. While I was scrubbing floors, he was climbing the corporate ladder. David sent money, lots of it. He thought that money was his sacrifice, his proof of love, but I saw it as a transaction, a fee he paid for his right to be elsewhere. The resentment started small, but it grew with every transfer notice I saw on the bank statement. It felt like I was an employee being paid to do his job.
All I would receive was a cold, impersonal text about the quarterly transfer, telling me to call if I needed anything. But what I truly needed was his presence, not his balance sheet. I was carrying everything, the physical strain, the mental load. I'd scream his name in frustration, especially on nights when I struggled to lift Dad after a small fall, wondering why he couldn't spare one single day. When I did manage to talk to him, he would always cut me short, always impatient, always talking about a crucial deal in Singapore and promising to call back later. His deals always sounded more important than our reality. Then, the inevitable came quickly. The doctor gave us hours. I called David, demanding to come home. He claimed he had a commitment, a final signing. He chose the contract over his father's final moments. He arrived 24 hours late. He walked in the door in his formal suit, dropping his suitcase in the hall. He looked like a guest, a tourist in his own family's tragedy. I looked at him and told him he was too late.
He tried to defend himself, saying he flew as soon as he could, claiming the contract secured everything. I lost my control. I lashed out, asking him if that contract was more important than Dad's last breath, reminding him that I had been alone, holding everything together. He shouted back, pointing to the money he'd sent, accusing me of choosing to be a martyr and holding him back with guilt. Our voices rose, filling the room with years of unspoken pain and resentment. David just stood there afterward, unable to even look at Dad's body. He couldn't move. He couldn't cry. He looked utterly paralyzed, but his silence felt like the ultimate form of abandonment. I told him to get out of my house, that I never wanted to see him again, and he left. He drove away into the darkness, leaving me to handle the funeral, comfort Mother, and face the crushing silence alone. He had abandoned us one last terrible time. A few weeks later, I was clearing Dad's desk. That's when I found a small leather journal. I thought it was his, but the meticulous, hurried handwriting belonged to David. I opened it, and my resentment dissolved into shame. It wasn't a record of his corporate profits. It was a crippling, detailed record of his debts. He hadn't just sold his company for money. He had liquidated everything years ago to pay off Dad's failing business loans.
The huge, successful job I thought he had? It was a high-risk, low-equity venture. He was traveling, working himself to exhaustion, not to get rich, but to keep that constant stream of cash, the cash I hated, flowing. He was sacrificing his entire life on the road so I would never have to leave the house. Oh, David.
The betrayal I felt was instantly replaced by a crushing realization of his sacrifice. I thought he was free. I thought he was cruel. But he was just as trapped as I was, just in a different kind of prison. I reached out to him. When he walked back into the house weeks later, I told him I had found the journal. He broke down, explaining that he was desperate to secure that final deal, that he couldn't risk the money stopping, and that he sacrificed his presence so I could maintain mine. I knelt beside him, confessing that I had thought he was heartless and free, when he was just as trapped as I was. We held each other, finally seeing the truth. There was no need for forgiveness, only recognition. The chasm between us dissolved. David came home. He took a leave and now manages the finances from Dad's old office. We share the caregiving now.
We learned that not all love is visible, and not all sacrifice looks like devotion. Sometimes the deepest love is found in the burden you choose to hide. The words we left unspoken caused the greatest pain. But finally we understood, and we are here, together.